Welcome to Lost Love Mystery, where every story unravels a secret. So, let's dive into another story. It was a typical Tuesday afternoon. I had just returned from the office, feeling the usual fatigue from another mundane day of coding. As I stepped into the living room, I noticed Max, our golden retriever, dragging something across the floor towards me. I chuckled, assuming it was another book from Camille's collection that he had chewed up. "What have you got there, boy?" I said, bending down to retrieve the object from his mouth. My smile quickly faded as I realized it wasn't a book but a journal. The handwriting on the cover was unmistakably Camille's. A sense of curiosity and unease washed over me. Why would Max bring me Camille's private journal? Against my better judgment, I flipped open the journal and began to read the first entry. My heart pounded as the words sank in, each sentence like a dagger through my chest. The entries detailed an affair, a betrayal I never could have imagined. "No, this can't be," I muttered, my hands trembling. The journal described intimate moments between Camille and a man named Richard Prescott, someone from her workplace. She referred to me as a cuck, blissfully unaware of her deceit. Rage and sorrow welled up inside me, tears stinging my eyes. I continued reading, hoping against hope that this was some sick joke. But the entries only grew more graphic, detailing their next planned rendezvous at a secluded cabin owned by Richard. My stomach churned, and I felt like vomiting. Camille's footsteps approached the living room, and I quickly closed the journal, tucking it behind a cushion. She entered, her face bright and cheerful as if nothing was amiss. "Hey, honey," she said, leaning in to kiss my cheek. "How was your day?" I forced a smile, my mind racing with a whirlwind of emotions. It was fine, just the usual. How could she act so normal, so casual, when she was carrying on this double life? I wanted to scream to confront her, right then and there, but I knew I needed a plan. I couldn't let her get away with this betrayal. "I'm going to take Max for a walk," I said, my voice trembling slightly. Camille nodded, oblivious to the storm brewing inside me. As I stepped outside, I took a deep breath, trying to steady myself. I would expose her treachery, but I needed to do it in a way that would give me the upper hand, a way to reclaim my dignity. With each step, my resolve hardened. Camille would pay for her deceit, and I would make sure she could never hurt me like this again. In the days following my discovery of Camille's betrayal, I found myself consumed by a whirlwind of emotions. Anger, sorrow, and a burning desire for revenge coursed through my veins. I couldn't simply confront her. I needed a plan, a way to expose her treachery fully and reclaim my dignity. As I pored over the journal entries, a name caught my eye: Richard Prescott, the man with whom Camille was having an affair. A quick online search revealed that he was married to a woman named Miranda, a teacher at a local elementary school. The realization hit me like a ton of bricks. Miranda was another victim in this twisted web of deceit. Without hesitation, I reached out to her, arranging a meeting at a quiet cafe near her school. When she arrived, I could see the weariness in her eyes, the burden of a troubled marriage etched into her features. "Miranda," I began, my voice trembling slightly, "I'm afraid I have some difficult news to share with you." Her brow furrowed with concern as I revealed the truth about our spouse's affair. The evidence laid bare in Camille's journal. "Oh my God," she whispered, tears welling in her eyes. I had suspicions, but I never wanted to believe it. To my surprise, Miranda revealed that she had already discovered Richard's infidelity through his phone. She had confronted him, but he had threatened to ruin her reputation if she pursued the matter further. "That monster," I growled, my fists clenching involuntarily. Miranda nodded, her lip quivering. "He's abusive, both emotionally and physically. I've been too afraid to leave." In that moment, a sense of solidarity washed over us. Two souls bound by the betrayal of those we had once loved and trusted. "We can't let them get away with this," I said, determination burning in my eyes. "We have to fight back, expose them for the liars and cheaters they are." Miranda hesitated for a moment, but then her resolve hardened. "You're right. It's time to take action." Over the next few days, We meticulously gathered evidence, the journal, screenshots from Richard's phone, and any other damning proof we could find. We pored over the details, formulating a plan to confront Camille and Richard together, a united front against their duplicity. As Friday approached, the day of their planned rendezvous at Richard's secluded cabin, my heart raced with a mixture of anxiety and resolve. I couldn't wait to see the look on Camille's face when she realized her double life was crumbling around her. "Are you ready for this?" Miranda asked, her voice steely with determination. I took a deep breath and nodded. More than ready. It's time to put an end to their lies. With evidence in hand and a plan in place, we set out for the cabin, ready to unleash the full force of our righteous fury upon the adulterous couple. Miranda and I arrived at the secluded cabin well before Camille and Richard were due to arrive. We wasted no time setting up hidden cameras in strategic locations, ensuring we would capture every sordid detail of their trust. "Are you sure about this?" Miranda asked, her voice a mix of concern and determination. I took a deep breath, steeling my nerves. "Let's do this. It's time for them to face the consequences of their actions." We positioned ourselves strategically, evidence in hand, waiting for the adulterous couple to arrive. The minutes ticked by, each second feeling like an eternity as the anticipation built within me. Finally, we heard the crunch of gravel as a car pulled up outside. Camille's familiar laughter drifted through the walls, followed by Richard's deep chuckle. My heart pounded in my chest, a surge of anger coursing through my veins at their brazen audacity. I caught Miranda's eye and nodded. This was it, the moment of reckoning. We burst through the cabin door, catching Camille and Richard completely off guard. Camille's face drained of color as she registered the journal in my trembling hands. "Jackson," she stammered, her eyes wide with shock and fear. Richard stepped forward, a sneer on his face. "What's going on here?" Miranda silenced him with a fierce glare. "Don't even try to talk your way out of this, you lying piece of scum." I could feel my hands shaking as I laid out the evidence before them. The journal entries, the screenshots from Richard's phone, all the damning proof of their betrayal. "How could you do this to me, Camille?" I asked, my voice thick with emotion. "I loved you, trusted you with everything I had." Camille opened her mouth, undoubtedly prepared to spew forth a litany of excuses and lies, but I cut her off. "Save it," I spat. "Your actions speak louder than any words you could offer." Richard, his temper flaring, took a menacing step toward me. "You have no idea what you've gotten yourself into, buddy." But before he could make another move, the sound of sirens pierced the air. Miranda and I had called the police earlier, anticipating Richard's volatile nature. The officers burst through the door, immediately taking in the tense scene before them. Richard, enraged, lunged toward me, but the police were swift in restraining him. "We have all the evidence we need of your abusive behavior and infidelity," Miranda declared, handing over the proof from Richard's phone, as the officers led a seating Richard away in handcuffs. Camille turned to me one last time, tears streaming down her face. "Jackson, please," she begged. "I'm so sorry. I made a mistake. A horrible mistake. Can't you find it in your heart to forgive me?" I looked at her, the woman I had once loved more than anything, and felt nothing but a hollow emptiness. "I'm sorry, Camille," I said, my voice flat and devoid of emotion. "But some mistakes are unforgivable." In the aftermath, Miranda and I leaked the videos and evidence online, ensuring the scandal spread far and wide. Camille and Richard lost their jobs, their reputations in tatters as the public backlash intensified. Miranda filed for divorce, leaving Richard with nothing but the consequences of his despicable actions. As for me, I knew there was no going back, no way to salvage what had been broken beyond repair. I filed for divorce, severing the tie that had once bound me to Camille, and vowed to rebuild my life from the ashes of our shattered marriage. It would be a long and difficult road, but with the weight of Camille's betrayal finally lifted, I felt a glimmer of hope for the future, a future where I would never again allow myself to be blindsided by the ones I loved.